Hi, welcome back to PHI and PPE, Copper Penny Consulting Podcast. I'm Amy Wood, your HIPAA guru with all things privacy, cybersecurity, scary. And I got my homegirl here, Deanna Otts-Whitfield, our resident expert on all the dirty things in OSHA and infection control. And for a rare opportunity, we're actually together.
How
cool is that?
In real life. So there's no cutting out in this video. You're going to see both of us the entire time.
With all our weird faces.
So the last couple days, Amy and I shared some time together at the Star of the North, the Minnesota Dental Association conference up here in St. Paul, Minnesota. I was so fortunate that Amy was able to drive up here. She's close, a couple hours away, so we got to spend some time together, and we learned a lot together and a lot on our own. And something we just thought we were just having a conversation about in the car earlier is actually going to turn into a podcast. We want to talk about it. So I had come across on the exhibit floor, there's several exhibitors that were there talking about designing your office, remodeling offices, building new standalone buildings. And I got into a conversation with one of them.
More like a debate.
Yes, well, more like a debate. And maybe I gave them some advice perhaps. But if you are a business owner and you are wanting to build a new practice or you're wanting to design something, change it up in your office, how much thought goes into the backside of your business? Yes, the aesthetics are beautiful and you want that people-pleasing moment when your patients walk into your office for the first time. You like that aesthetic feel of what's new and beautiful. You want your operatories pretty and clean, but what's important to me is your sterile reprocessing room, your storage area for your supplies. What's important to you, Amy?
The overall functionality and access to things. And one thing that was always, it would irk me, is there was no thought put into the server and network area.
Right.
Regardless of if you're cloud or server based, no thought to that equipment.
Doesn't it just go in a little closet in the back that...
Doesn't it go where the compressor is?
Oh.
That's what a lot of people would say.
Yeah.
A lot of designers, a lot of architects.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got to talking with a couple of these companies, asking them, do you have any clinicians? Do you have any professionals that are on these committees or these design teams that think about these things? Because yes, we can build some beautiful practices out there and we can make them very cushy and very comfortable. But the back end of the business, the space for your equipment and maybe room to grow when your business really starts taking off, let's think about those things. And this even goes out to the big design companies that help build out your operatories with your dental units and your storage and supplies. But, you know, those pieces of equipment and those rooms are really important. And there's reasons why. And there's also regulations behind it, too, on how they should be set up. So I just brought that to their attention and maybe had some gears turning in their mind, something that they never thought about.
Yeah, it seemed like they were more receptive to opening their minds to that.
Right.
Because they don't think about it. They just think, oh, there needs to be a little nook and cranny over here for this. And the reality is you need a lot more space for that.
Right.
And maybe, a slightly smaller doctor's office. Sorry, doctors.
Yeah. Sorry. You don't need a place to go hide all the time.
Hey now. Or maybe a slightly smaller waiting room, because realistically patients shouldn't be waiting for very long
for
in
too
your office.
Long. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're not bringing their whole family, I hope.
No.
But there's ways of designing these offices.
Right.
So like on my end, I would like a dedicated space for the network equipment to have appropriate airflow. In fact, I had a long-time client. I'm just taking free liberty here to share it. I'm not saying who it is or where it is, but beautifully designed office. We actually helped with it. We knew that there was a dedicated server closet. It had proper airflow. It had a thermostat in there. It had air conditioning. Like, it was well thought out. Well, the sensor for the thermostat so it would automatically kick on. That sensor failed, and so it got so hot in there, and it was a vaulted ceiling in that area. Shoot. And it got so hot that the sprinkler went off in there, and just water coming through the server rack and all the network equipment, and I had no idea if it was going to work. And I just remember getting a call and a picture of water coming out, and I'm like, no.
Oh no.
Oh no. This
no.
office has been through so much already just to get this location done, and to have that happen and that setback, it was so hard.
That's tough. That's tough. I walk into a lot of offices where their sterile reprocessing area is very, very small. One, there's no room to grow, but okay. Two, you don't have any room to do the necessary steps that involve sterile reprocessing because it's a multi-step critical process. The transport, the cleaning, the packaging, the sterilization, and then of course the storage. There's one office locally here, they don't have a clean side. They have no clean side, so they have to take the instruments directly out of the autoclave and then take them directly into the rooms. Well, it was very poorly designed, and so there's not a lot of room to spread out. And sterilization's a very, very important part of the entire practice. You have to have those clean and sterile instruments and pieces of equipment to work on your patients. That's what we do in dentistry, okay? We can't just, blow on people's mouths and fix their teeth, right? So we got to have those clean tools.
And now what happens, clinician here,
okay.
Because I'm not a clinician, what happens if an office is so blessed that they actually grow and they need a second sterilizer?
Oh my gosh. Well,
what happens then?
That's wonderful. You know what? There are some modifications that can take place. Maybe you have to move some plumbing around. That's a possibility. Maybe you have to install some cabinetry so your sterile reprocessing center now turns into an L-shape area. You may have to move some equipment or change up some rooms a little bit to provide more space, but sometimes it's not always about having to buy more pieces of equipment, but maybe work with what you have. Sometimes it's just a matter of rearranging things. If you're having to maybe switch the clean and dirty side, that's a possibility too.
I've actually heard of that happening with an office that I worked with a long time ago. I remember they did that, and it was a big deal at the time, but it became so much more efficient. And
right.
I don't do OSHA or infection control, so I was like in one ear out the other.
Well,
but
sure.
They were super excited.
Yes.
All the clinical team members were.
Right. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So sometimes if you get a new piece of equipment because you're so blessed that your business is growing, and that's a shout out to Karen Daw, by the way.
Those are her words.
Those are her words. We wanted to make a shout out to the OSHA lady.
Gotta give credit where credit is due.
That's right. So yes, if you're one of those practices that is so blessed, or you're upgrading your equipment, you're moving from an ultrasonic bath to an instrument washer, that's going to involve new plumbing, and that's going to involve cutting out some cabinetry and maybe losing some storage space. But that is an opportunity to scale your business and change some things and improve your processes.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
On layout, because, obviously I'm not familiar with this. Can those machines... those be stacked inside built-in cabinetry? Really?
Yes, they can.
Oh, that would be cool.
They can. And, a lot of these cabinetry builders, what they do is they'll put them on a shelf that can pull out. Yes.
Oh.
Because the machines do get hot. They get very hot. And sometimes in the IFUs, it says that these machines need to cool down in between loads. So having the opportunity to pull them out away from the wall so all that heat is not just really kept behind them is really important. And I do see a lot of new build outs and new offices that are using that technology with the pull out cabinet. But yeah, yes.
I do think in America, we tend to build horizontally instead of vertically.
We do, unless you're in New York City. That's great, but no, you're absolutely right. Yeah. We have space, and we tend to build out instead of up. That is something. Tell me a little bit how you feel about those lock cabinets that servers are in.
Oh, I love them. Okay,
do you want them really high though?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
No, it depends on where it is.
Okay.
So usually this is an afterthought.
Okay.
Everything's been designed and built, and then IT gets called. Involve your IT provider when you decide you're doing this at the time of doing the architectural drawings, and make sure that they're putting the wires in the walls where you want your computers to be, and
like
where
building
your
a house.
printers are going to be, and add extra things for, I don't know, your credit card machine or the extra internet phones you're going to have, and the things that require not Wi-Fi, because we do hardwired
Things are
as
so hard.
long as we possibly can, and wireless only if absolutely necessary.
Huh. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
I remember working on an ophthalmology practice, and the general contractor for that building said, well, we'll just do everything Wi-Fi. We didn't plan for putting wires in the wall anywhere. And I'm looking around, and it's a metal stud building in downtown San Francisco, and I'm thinking, oh dear God, nothing's gonna work in here.
Nothing's gonna
None of the Wi-Fi is gonna work.
There's nothing worse when you walk into a building and you can't even get cell reception because you're in a metal building or a metal roof building, and
Many convention
sucks.
centers we go to are like that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're cheaper to build, they're easier, more flexible. But as far as those cages, they're fantastic because the way that they're built, good ones anyway, they're it looks like wire mesh. But it provides the security while also providing the ventilation. And then when it's unlocked, you have the ability to access it from the front, but also from the sides of those cages. So if you need to unplug something or see if something's lit up, you can have access to it. We, at one time or another, had put them under front desk areas.
Yeah, that's not okay.
No, it's fantastic if it's in the cage, because then you don't have an admin team member that accidentally kicks it and knocks everything off
Yeah, that's true.
and shuts down internet for the practice, or
Yeah.
you can't take x-rays or anything. We've had them in staff lounges, we've had them in doctors' offices,
Right.
we've had them in basements, we've had them one we even had in like an attic crawl space, very strategically. But I mean, IT people have to get kind of creative, and from a compliance perspective, that now presents a new level of risk. And so we have to look at that too. Is it going to overheat? Is it accessible?
Right.
Is it addressing a potential flood if they're in a floodplain?
There's a lot of thought that goes into these things.
Your risk management people, I know it seems weird, but your risk management consultants should really be involved in that planning process, because we have a lot of input, and we've seen a lot of bad stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and same thing when it comes to infection control things. There may not be someone who works clinically and as part of the design team, and you need someone that has that mindset, that knows how much space is needed for certain things to work appropriately in your practice. And obviously that's needed for HIPAA as well, and cybersecurity and those types of parameter, whatever those things are called. What are those things called?
It's been a long week.
It's been a long week.
Well, this was something that was on our mind, and I'm really glad we talked it out and shared with our listeners and the dental community. So if you're thinking about a new building or a remodel, keep these in mind, because it really does make a difference.
Yeah, and if you don't know, just ask. Ask somebody. Reach out to us.
Ask us.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
We'll nerd out on it with you.
Yeah, we'll let you know. So, yeah. Well, you know what? Think that's another great episode of PHI and PPE here with Amy and I at Copper Penny Consulting. Interact with us on social media. Reach out to us if you have any questions. You can find us on all the platforms except for TikTok.
Thank you.
And we'll see you at the next go-around.
Thank you for joining us. For more information, please go to www.copperpennyconsulting.com. Bye.